Hi, everyone. This is Daniel Ramsey. I'm super excited today because I've got Land Voice, got two amazing folks here to share value and a talk and just help agents scale their business. That's what we like to do here at MyOutDesk is provide value and just help in your growth to a seven-figure business. Why are we on the call? Last week, I called Christoph here up to the left, a road warrior, but we've been traveling together. We go to these conferences and we see each other, and every single time we're answering the same questions. And last week I was at the Explode conference in Phoenix, and Tiffany comes to the booth and says, "Oh my goodness, I'm trying to grow. I'm not sure, blah, 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 blah." And so we start talking, and I asked her what her one constraint to growth was. And she said, low inventory. And so today, the whole focus of this call is breaking that barrier to low inventory. I asked her a bunch of other questions like, hey, do you have a CRM? What are your lead sources? Do you have an assistant? Like all those really good questions. And we're going to go over them today. And we've got 5 strategies. And I've got Christoph from Land Voice. Again, he's the road warrior. I see him at every, like Florida, Arizona. I mean, it's nuts how often we see each other. And so he's going to be here providing value to you guys. And then we also have Jonathan, who is in the trenches. So he's going to bring some strategies to this conversation that you only get when you are talking to super high successful agents every single day. And that's why he's on the call. So that's what we're here to do today, is to provide value and strategies. And we're just going to launch right in. Christoph, we were talking and you said that one of the 5 strategies was old expires. Help us break that down.
Okay, so first of all, I have to explain what an old expired is, because a lot of people think, what, food? Old expired?
Yeah.
Why is that important? Old expireds are expired not recently, but in older years, right? So right now we find that the expireds who expired in 2015 are coming back on the market. So that, the house was for sale in 2015. For obvious reasons, it didn't sell. We all know why. And what they have been waiting for is for the market conditions to improve.
Right.
And today, what do we have? 30% appreciation over 2015. So it's an amazing reason for them to put their home on the market, right? Unfortunately, for agents to actually go back to those old years and do the work themselves and scrub, take out all the souls and actives and so on, a lot of work, right? So what we have been approached by a lot of agents that say, Land Voice, could you do the work for us? Could you scrub the database, add the phone numbers, add the absentee owner, because it takes us like $1,000 a month with an assistant to do all that work. So we developed a patented system that automatically removes all the junk from the old expired years. And we give them the homeowners, absentee owner, the address where they live, phone number, the current contact info, address, and so on. And we only allow 1 agent per zip code and year.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it's a bad business model, but for the clients, it's awesome because there's no competition.
Right. So everybody who's listening, if you have any questions for these guys or me or in your world, just put the notes right there on Facebook Live. We'll answer them. We're going to get to them. Also, if you stick to the end, we've got some insane gifts, right? So one thing that I love about Land Voice is that they just gave 16 documents basically to give you strategies, handle objections, to show you how to email somebody or text message somebody if you're in the FSBO or expired world. Plus, we're giving something away, right, Christoph? What are we giving away?
What we're giving away today is 10 books. It's actually called the Definite Blueprint for Real Estate Success.
Yeah.
Our friend Hoss Pratt, he's a real estate coach. He wrote this. I read this book. It's amazing. I think every agent should read it. We're giving 10 away today. 10 lucky winners.
Yeah. Good. And here's the reason. We want you to have a successful practice. Our job is to add value and help you guys grow. And to that point, so old expireds, 2015 is hot. Land Voice does that all for you. So in a systematic way, so you can jump on it. What's the second strategy? I've got add value to the FSBO world using the IVR, which is another uniquely Land Voice kind of thing, right?
Actually, yeah. And Jonathan, you want to take on that because that's your specialty.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, there's so many for sale by owners that are getting phone calls out there from agents with their hand out, just a little bit of a commission breath attitude. And what our clients are doing that we're finding just phenomenal success around just the entire country is providing value, providing a value proposition, a gift that they can actually turn around and use the next day that'll bring you guys a lot closer together. And it's actually one of the easiest sales that any real estate agent will make. It's one of the easiest calls they'll make. So here's the sign that we give. I'll kind of block myself for a second. So here's what a real estate agent would say. They'll call a FSBO and they'll say, I see you're selling your home at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? And the FSBO will say, yes, it's available. The agent will say, great, my name's Jonathan. I'm a realtor with XYZ Real Estate. Now, I'm not calling to try to list your property, so don't hang up. I have a technology that I'd like to provide to you that's going to help you sell your home faster and for the most amount of money. And I would like to provide it to you completely complimentary. And here's how it works. And here's why I'm providing it to you for free. So I'm going to put a sign on your front yard that any buyer calls into will hear a beautiful professional recording of your house. They're going to hear the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the amenities, the price, everything they would want the buyer to hear. Now, at the end of the recording, if the buyer really likes the house, our system gives the buyer the ability to press a button and directly connect to the seller if they like that property. Now, if they don't like the property and they just disconnect right away, the agent gets a text and an email of all the buyer's information. Well, the realtors, they get an email and a text no matter what. As soon as the buyer hangs up, they get a text of all the information, and it'll tell them that the buyer didn't press a button to talk to the owner. So they're immediately going to follow up with the buyer and find out why. And the FSBOs love this because the agents are helping, them weed out their looky-loos. The
Right.
FSBOs are spending their time talking to serious buyers that actually like the recording, and the agents just kind of picking up the pieces and talking to a lot of buyers and sellers that, weren't interested in that house that was probably priced a little higher. And it's just a huge lead generation tool for our clients. Now, what we found out, it's and you guys all know that this is kind of reverse psychology. Of course, we're going to be able to generate buyers and sellers that don't like the house, but what we really want is the FSBO. We want them to convert into a listing. And what we're finding out is within 2 weeks of time, 70% of our clients are converting the FSBO into a listing just by providing this service complimentary. So instead of going against the grain, they're riding the wave, and it's such an easier sell. They kind of have their cake and eat it too. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, so Tiffany, this gal that I saw at the conference, we were talking about this, and I asked her how many of her listings were her office double ending. Okay. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, in a tight inventory market, you delay putting the property on the market. You put up a sign with an IVR like this, you do flyers and you do all this work because you'd like to be able to double end as many transactions as you can, squeeze as much revenue out of every listing that you have. And so, Jonathan, you could use this on your own listings. You can use it on for sale by owners. You can use it to drive double ending like transactions in your own business.
Oh yeah, it should make you a double-side king with all the buyers that you're generating off the FSBO signs. You don't have to stop at one sign. Our system gives you the ability to use hundreds of signs. In fact, I just got an email today from an agent who's gotten 4 signs out in 3 days. So, these things fly off the shelf. And like you said, you're generating buyers off these signs left and right. You're generating listings from FSBOs that are converting. You're generating listings from expireds. And you're just marrying the two together. You're working smarter and you're making a lot more money. Totally. Double-side kings and queens.
It's funny because most of the time I would have this experience where I'd have a neighbor call in to a 1-800 number and put the information in. We'd capture their information. We call that neighbor, and that neighbor is actually thinking about selling their house. And so listings have babies with 18 months of putting a listing on a street. 2.4 other listings sell like within 18 months. So when you become the guy that has the system that follows up with leads, that provides information and is a free service for a FSBO, I believe that's a way to win. That's just a way to double your inventory and drive more profits for your real estate practice.
Yeah, and you know what, with this system alone, And we have it for sale by owners, but we also have these writers, you know, for the listings.
Right.
And we're generating 200 to 300% more buyers with this technology just because it's non-confrontational. You know what I mean? It's the way people are looking to shop. You know, they want to find out more information before they pull the trigger. And
Right.
this just allows our agents to generate that endless supply of buyers, which ultimately helps them sell properties faster.
So cool. We've got Bridget goes, woohoo! She likes this. And Wendy says, makes sense. Love to get these signs. One thing that's really cool about Land Voice and MyOutDesk are kind of tie up. And Christoph, you have some information about this. We're giving away to our mutual clients a 30-day kind of free trial to Land Voice. And I think it's a great spot here to talk about that because before we go into our third strategy, because I think it's important for everybody in a low inventory market to maximize the options in terms of lead generation. That's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You need as many listings as you can get, and you need as many buyers that double in those listings as possible. Okay, so what are we giving away? It's a 90-day pro. Christoph, tell us a little bit about that.
So the 90-day pro bundle of Land Voice is really the richest bundle that we have. And we do it for a reason. We want you to have the very best phone numbers for this trial, because only if you succeed, if you get listings in those 30 days, then we truly help you, right? So we're not holding back. For instance, expireds. We give you the pro expireds in that bundle. That will include all the phone numbers for everybody in your MLS, for every expired, withdrawn, canceled. And the success rate of a good phone number is 90%. So it's really high. We give up to 3 numbers per lead, per record, and we focus on cell phone numbers. So wouldn't it be amazing to have the right cell phone number for everybody who just expired today, right?
Right.
So you can call them and be the first agent to call them. And when I say call them, I understand that a lot of you say, oh, I hate calling. I don't want to pick up the phone and do a cold call. I have to tell you a little story about a friend of mine. He actually worked here at Land Voice with me. His name is Jake Morse, and he became a real estate agent because he noticed, how much success they have, and he was making them a lot of money. So he became a real estate agent himself. In his first month, he got $2 million worth of listings. In the first month as an agent, that's great, right?
Right.
But here's how he did it. He said, I didn't make a single phone call. I initiated the conversation with text messages.
Gotcha.
Okay. So because he gets a cell phone number from us, we scrub against the do not call list. We educate our clients on the FCC rules of texting. And then, you just send a very friendly, simple text out to the client. And, what is the open rate, Daniel? It's like in the
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And the highlight is, and every text message is read within I think the first minute.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a great way to actually reach out if you don't like calling. But that is what we provide in the 30-day trial, expires with phone numbers. We provide for sale by owners. Don't do the research yourself, guys. Land Voice will give you all the for sale by owners every morning by 7 o'clock. You have them, and you can call them or text them. We provide you with the pre-foreclosure leads in some of your market areas. You see an increase in pre-fos, and there are different reasons for that. But even if that's just 1 or 2 a week, just go after them. Those people are really motivated to save the home and get it sold. So we give you all those leads. We give you unlimited neighborhood search, which Daniel just talked about. Do the geographic farming. Let neighbors know that you listed or sold a house, and you will see their homes popping up on the market as well.
Right.
We give you unlimited neighborhood search, and that's it. So for sale by owners, expired, pre-foreclosures, and neighborhood search.
And if somebody's listening and they want to try that trial, how would they, what would they do?
Well, I knew you would ask that question, so I prepared a piece of paper. All you got to do is go to this landing page, landvoice.com/MOD. That stands for MyOutDesk. And what you will find there is a sign up button, and you can sign up for, you never heard that before, for $0 for 30 days. Okay. Right. So it's really a no-brainer to try that out. And our clients who have that pro package that I'm just showing you, they typically get about 4 to 5 listings a month, even in a low inventory time, because we focus on low inventory leads.
Yep. Steve Rich has a question, and I'm gonna jump in there, and you guys can add anything to this. So, how explain how an IVR system works for expireds? And here's what I would tell you. When you're talking to an expired listings, there's only two reasons that it didn't work, and I love to have that conversation with Mr. Expired. Did your previous real estate agent tell you why you didn't sell your home? And 100% of the time that they didn't. So there's only two reasons: it's price and marketing. So I don't know what kind of marketing you did, but I'd love to discuss this with you, and then you schedule a time frame. So I think the IVR system for expireds is just to say, I use technology, cutting edge technology. I will capture every single buyer that wants to see your house and is interested. All of your neighbors who are interested are going to call and think, and we're going to get that list, and then we're going to work those leads. So I think that's the way I would add value on the expireds with your guys' system. But any other additional thoughts?
You're nailing it. That's exactly what we show the expired. We show them how their home sounds with our technology. So prior to going to the house, you would send LandVoice the property information. We do a professional recording for you. We also do a listing flyer, a postcard, and a door hanger. We brand it with all of your information. So when you get there, you show them this is the differentiator tool. You say, hey, check out this marketing material. This is a system that allows me to generate an endless supply of buyers and never miss an opportunity to follow up with anyone. Let me give you a demonstration. Then you hold up the sign. They call into the sign. They hear the beautiful recording. They hang up. You get a text message right in front of them. And of course, you're going to kind of shove that text message under their face and say, check this out. I captured your information literally faster than you could turn on a light switch. Yeah. I'm going to call back these buyers before they turn their car on. And I'm never going to miss an opportunity to show your home. Yeah. So it's believable.
Well, and Steve, what you're trying to tell people is most agents, they do the, throw it on MLS and pray strategy. What you're trying to say is, look, we're differentiated. I'm going to drive people to this house. I'm going to go through everything that I'm going to do to sell your home fast for the most money. Those are the two things: fast for the most money. And if you'd like, we could sit down and I can talk to you around that. So I think it's a really important positioning conversation. But you got into the number 3 strategy called old school sales. That's what I called it, where it's just the belly to belly. And I think it's really important that we mention this, because I think agents don't do enough of this. And again, I'm talking to Tiffany and I'm asking her, how much of your time are you spending prospecting every day? Have you ever circle called in the neighborhood? Do you do door knock? And Jonathan, you mentioned it, flyers, mailers. I mean, those are super valuable things that you can do prior to listing a house, so you get the buyer. So let's talk about how LandVoice helps people do this.
So we're talking about prior to door knocking, or prior to showing up at anybody's property. One of the things that we do to plan ahead is you would just send us a list of properties that you're going to visit. And we can do a couple of things. A lot of agents like to create a packet that we prepare. So LandVoice customizes a full listing packet, and we put all of the IVR systems and technology together, so you can show any homeowner that answers the door a system that you already have ready to go to get them on the market and sold for top dollar. And we mainly do that with expireds. A lot of agents, they'll do door knocking with expireds and do that face-to-face, belly-to-belly combat action. And they just say, hey, I'm so sorry for showing up on your doorstep like this. It's totally not my style, but I'm selling real estate in this neighborhood for a lot of money, and I had to introduce myself. Here's a flyer and a postcard and a door hanger that I created just in case you opened up the door. And they give it to them, and the expireds are usually impressed, like, wow. And before, they close the door, you would say, hey, call into this sign, and if it's not the best presentation you've ever heard on your property, just tell me to kick rocks. And they'll usually laugh and call right into the sign to call your bluff. Right. And as soon as they hear a recording, we have a conversation sparking. Their door is going to open a lot wider, and I bet we get into talking pricing. And that's why I love it. It's just a great way to get your foot in the door, especially if you guys are door knockers and you don't mind that face-to-face combat. This is a system that we have ready to go for any type of agent that's ready to get out there and seize listings.
Yeah, one of our clients, Lisa Archer, who is an advocate of your guys's, she does something like choose your neighbor, right? And so she has open houses for just neighbors prior to ever listing a property, so that she can get a ton of people, interested in that house, and she can have the opportunity to double in both sides. What it also does is she asks this question, are you stopping by because you're considering maybe upgrading your home? And the reality is, like, those kind of conversations are just saying, hey, you came here for a reason. Yeah. Perhaps that reason was because you were thinking about selling your property. Would you like to know what your house is worth today? These kind of conversations, most agents don't have the opportunity to have. So we're just trying to open as many doors as possible, and for you to be seen as the expert in your neighborhood, in your farm, where you're living and what you're doing. Go ahead.
Daniel, you asked a great question. I love it. What can we do prior to contacting that lead, right? How do we prepare? And I think that, and you guys forgive me if I'm offending anybody, that's not my intention, but I think oftentimes real estate agents treat their business like a FISBO. We complain about FISBOs oftentimes and say, well, the FISBOs, they do all the work themselves, while a professional actually could do it for them. Right. And get them faster to the goal. And oftentimes, real estate agents do exactly the same thing, like a FISBO, spend a lot of time on the research, complain about low inventory and say, oh, where are those leads? And then going to all those different sources to find it. And by the time they find the leads, they're not the first agent anymore. So I propose that the best thing in a low inventory time to be done is to arm yourself with, or actually get the support of professional companies and say, I'm going to outsource my lead generation to a company. Right. I have somebody else do the call for me because time is valuable. I need to be on the phone with people. I don't have time to look for leads when other agents, like 10 agents go after those 2 listings in my little, right? So that's, I think, how agents can succeed in a low inventory time, by freeing up the time and letting professional companies really supply them with what they do best.
Yeah. So we have this client, Harry, in Virginia, and I love where you're going with that, because we provide virtual professionals. We have this client in Virginia. His name's Harry, and he just signed up with us last week. And in the first 4 days of working, his virtual professional set 24 appointments. Okay. 24 appointments. I was blown away because, those numbers aren't usual. I'd love to say every single client gets 24 appointments, but that is a pretty killer number. And I think, we have a couple questions I'm going to jump into, but I think what's important here, you've nailed something, is, and I told this to Tiffany when I was talking to her. I asked her and her husband, who was there, who was on their team, and what they did every day, right? What they did, how many hours were they prospecting, how many listing presentations were going on in a week, and they just stared with big eyes, like, what do you mean? I should go on a listing appointment every day? I'm like, yes, every day, maybe twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. It's the one thing that you can't hire out, is going to the house and being a licensed professional and getting them to sign. But everything else can be given away as a real estate agent. And that is what we help clients focus on the 7-figure business roadmap, because we've had 4,000 clients. We're 10 years old. We're like you guys. We're the old company in the space, and what we found is these patterns, as we've helped clients, are very similar. So when you're a brand new agent, there's similar things that you do. When you're building a team, there's similar things. And when you're own a company and you have other people doing all of the work, there's similar things. And we've created this roadmap so that somebody can come to us. We can like Tiffany, she could say, hey, low inventory is my problem. And then we'll provide value, show her what she needs to do to focus so she grows her business. Wendy here said, are there zip codes available? I'm going to have the Land Voice team reach out to Wendy. And Steve is, do I have access? Again, we're going to let you guys reach out to these guys on an individual basis. But the reality is, if you see or hear anything in this conversation that is interesting, like having a virtual professional make calls for you because you hate calls, getting all of your leads from one source and having them scrubbed and making them legal, Land Voice is here, and we want to help. So we've got 2 more strategies because we're gonna try to wrap it up pretty soon here, and then I've got a free gift around what we call the 12 Ds of real estate. So like death, divorce, disability. I'm gonna give that out to everybody so you can kind of see it. IVR, Interactive Virtual Receptionist. I don't know what it stands for. What does IVR stand for?
I think you nailed it. Interactive Virtual Receptionist. A lot of people, IVR. I think that's exactly what it means.
That's my guess. I'm not sure.
Right.
We had somebody ask that question, but it's basically a system that captures cell phone numbers on your listing at the property. And think of it like this, guys. We're jumping into our next strategy, which is Facebook, email, database, kind of some of the challenges. Because again, we're talking about Tiffany. Tiffany, if you're watching, I hope this is helpful. I asked her how she got her property out to the universe, all of her listings, how she got them out. And I think it's a really important thing for us to focus on here is that you need as many connection and capture points for not only buyers of your listings, but people who are interested in selling. So Land Voice has something built in, and that's something that I love about this system, that gives you their email, social media, all their information. Let's talk about that real quick.
Right. And we don't focus on long-term social media strategies. Our purpose for providing you with the social media profiles for your leads is that you can initiate a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't respond to the phone call, you text them. If they don't respond to that, hey, contact them on Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. So what we do is we actually do a social media lookup for every single person in the MLS. Then we provide a cell phone number, email address, social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we verify those. So we throw out the bad ones, and that's a huge service to you too. So instead of getting 100 Facebook profiles and 8 of them are bad, that's a waste of your time. But we throw out the bad ones. We ping them. So that is included with a pro bundle that I mentioned earlier that all of you can get for $0 for 30 days.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important too, because again, at MyOutDesk, we have about 600 folks that are making calls every single day. And one of the things that we'll train our folks to do is just reach out in multiple different venues. I'm a big fan of Facebook, and guess what? All Facebook messages are read, right? I'm a real big fan of LinkedIn. LinkedIn messages are read. And I think what we're trying to do is just spark conversation and get them to the point where they'll talk to you, because that's all that you want. You just want to know, are they going to tell me to go pound sand and go away, or are they actually still interested in selling their property? And for the right dollar, would you sell today? That's the question. And if somebody says, well, if I got exactly what I wanted, if I could give you exactly what you wanted, where would you go? What would you do next? And those are the kind of conversations that you can have on social media. And I want to point out too, database. Oh my God, Tiffany, I love you. I love you and your husband. But if you can segment your database by area, we have thousands of clients, and I can't tell you how many emails I get of properties in Florida and Texas and New York, and I'm in California. So you have to know who's in your database, and you have to send them appropriate information. So this is another opportunity. It's not necessarily about land voice, but I think there's an opportunity to go inside, and when you have a listing, you go inside to your own database and you just send it out to them and say, hey, I've got this new property. So you can possibly double end. Okay, so last strategy, and then we're gonna jump into the 12 Ds, is the text message stuff. And Jonathan, you had some cool stuff. Are we in Canada? That's a question. Are we in Canada, land voice?
We can do 800 number and FSBO leads in Canada. So we can offer this FSBO technology to any of those sellers out there.
Okay, but the expireds and
we don't do the expireds in Canada.
Canada is a funny country. I have some cousins up there. They've got some weird privacy protection laws. So unfortunately,
we keep you safe. So by not providing you expireds in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so text message. I like this. I think you need a CRM or a system like LandVoice so that you can get their cell phone numbers and then you can blast. There's a lot of cool technologies out there, slide dial, other things where you can literally send out a text message to a ton of people at one time. But here, let's talk about how to do it with expireds and FSBOs. Jonathan, what do you got for us?
Well, with the for sale by owners, that whole pitch I gave you with how we're providing this system to for sale by owners, it really doesn't even have to be made in a phone call. Since we're providing you the cell phone numbers, one of the things that you guys haven't seen is LandVoice has designed a video that you can text to every for sale by owner that explains this whole thing for you. And we are getting a great response with the video. In fact, most of our agents just send the text message video and wait for a response because they say they get actually more responses on the text message video than actual phone calls. So we love text messaging the video. The cell phone numbers that we provide you are dead on perfect. And we also created a video for expireds that explains the IVR side of things, how the technology differentiates you. And so we use both of those to text FSBOs and expireds regularly.
Okay, let's slow down because I don't know. This is a new thing for me. I didn't even know you guys are texting video, even though we work together a lot on a lot of different clients. So let's explain what do you send in a video and what does it look like and who creates it and just unpack that for me so I know.
Totally. So our design team, they came up with a perfect about a minute and a half commercial that explains everything that is included in this technology to a for sale by owner. It's literally a small commercial that shows them a sign. It shows them a sample professional recording of a property. It shows them that once the buyer is done listening to the recording, they connect to the FSBO if they're interested. It shows them once the buyer hangs up, the FSBO gets a text message, the agent gets a text message, and you guys work together as a team. So it unravels everything. It's a great explanation of the service. Okay, and our clients are not even having to say it by phone. They just send out the text we have great tags that have good response rates. So we send out our top 4 tags that you would include with the video. Click on this short video. It will explain how I can sell your home for free. Just, tags that are like dogs running after a bus. They just have to do it.
Yeah.
Click on it. So we include that with our service.
And does your system, is that an extra charge or is it an easy as one click or how does it?
It's not an extra charge. It's included with the subscription. Unlimited professional recordings are included. Unlimited flyer requests are included. So you really just need to buy the package and we can do unlimited recordings, unlimited text messages. I mean, that's something that the agent's sending out themselves, but the video that we provide, that's provided to them as soon as they become a client.
So the agent is on their cell phone sending out the video that you guys help them build so that there's some personal branding around it. And it's also kind of branded to why somebody would want us to do that, right?
Nailed it.
Okay. What about expireds? Is there a video that you guys have been sending on the expired side that has had a really high or good? And I'm just curious because we've sent a lot of video and a lot of text messages and a lot of Facebook messages in our day. And so any strategies that you have that would be helpful to the audience?
You know, Christoph has the text messaging down, and I want him to get to that. But just as far as the IVR technology and what our agents are doing with the text message video link, it's very similar to the for sale by owner video, except we're going straight for the listing. We're throwing all of our tools on the table and showing any seller who answers this video that we have a system that is completely built to get them back on the market, get buyer attention, focus back on them, and get them sold faster and for the most amount of money. And what we think and why our clients are getting such a great response, it's really technical. It's really savvy. You know, the marketing material, the recordings, how we explain, you know, the system generating us 200 to 300% more buyers. Most of the expireds, I would think that watch it say, wow, I mean, where did my agent not catch this? You know, how did they miss this? And I have to get back to this agent at least by text. So our clients get a great response with the texting. And we're excited to share it with you guys. It's on our website. If any of you guys need it, I'm sure you can. I'll send it to Pauline and send it to you as well, so you guys could shoot it out to your team and just show them what our agents are doing to really differentiate themselves with these text message videos.
You know what we'll do is we'll provide a link on this recording that shows that video, so people can see how it works and what it says, and may or may not be of value to somebody, but seeing is believing, right? Okay, good. I want to just do a quick shout out. We have Alvin, who's on our marketing team, who's in the Philippines, who coordinates all of this. Alvin, we appreciate and love you. I'm hoping that you in the notes can right now put the 12 Ds of real estate. And this is a free, I was just bored one day and I started writing Ds down and got everything out there. And what I was trying to convey of value to everybody who's listening is that as a real estate person, your job is to lead generate. It's the only thing that matters. Getting listings and growing revenue. Everything else should be given away. And so what I did is I was traveling with a client, and on a napkin, we wrote out all of these different reasons. And I'm just going to go through them and share with you some of the mindsets. But the point is, your job is to find all of the reasons somebody would want to sell. If you want more listings in a tight inventory market, here are all the reasons that somebody would need to sell and is likely to hire a real estate agent. Christoph, you're going to say something.
You mentioned earlier, we have to be creative, right? We have to look for other ways to get leads. And oftentimes our own database is our biggest enemy, because our database is sometimes so antiquated that we say, okay, great, let's call everybody, let's text people. And then we notice, wait, that's 10 years old. Right. I'm not reaching people. So refresh your database, make it current. And again, don't do it yourself. You can send it to LandVoice. We send it back automatically. Our system does it. And we give you all the correct phone numbers, 3 numbers per person. And we can do even more than that. You just let us know what you need, and we make your database, ready, real, a real database. Well, that's and for a small fee, it doesn't even cost that much. It's so quick.
Right. Well, and a lot of people are throwing names in there, but they're missing phone numbers or emails or whatever. So you could clean all of that up for somebody, and then when they call into their database, they're actually talking to people who are real, and you've got cell phone information.
And also, don't worry, we keep it 100% private. We don't keep that data. We don't resell it. We don't do anything with it besides sending it back to you with augmented data. That's it.
Right. Okay, good. So we've got a question. How would a savvy real estate agent that has not used an assistant for leads and have never used technology of this magnitude best manage and operate a service in the most efficient manner? I've been itching to get started with Mod. I love you. And I just want to get it organized and locked in. That is a really big question. I'm going to answer your question, and then we're going to dive into the 12 Ds. Okay, so the 7-figure business roadmap, I want you to think of high school sports, okay? High school sports, you have a football, let's just call it a football team. You have a coach, you might have a couple assistant coaches, you have a daily practice routine, and you might have a workout, and then you get to go and play games on the evenings or the weekends, right? That's high school sports. Well, only 1% of high school sports athletes go on to practice in college. And in college, you might have 10 coaches. You might have a nutritionist. You might have a physical therapist. You might have, a huge staff to support you, right? And you're going to have you're going to work out in the morning. You're going to have a practice in the afternoon. You might have another workout regimen at night. You're going to play games. And here's the reality. Only the best move on from high school to go to college. The same thing happens when you go to the NFL. So you got college regimen, you've got a college discipline, you've got a college practice, you've got college games, but only 1% move on to the pros. And what I would encourage you to do, that question is a beautiful question. Even though you might be in high school sports today, I want you to practice like you're going to the NFL. And that's what we're talking about. And if you don't know what your constraints are to growth, what I want you guys to do is just register for a free consultation with us. You risk nothing, and we're going to show you what the guys in the pros and the gals in the pros, what they do every day, what their systems look like, and what their workout regimen looks like, and what they're eating, and what they're drinking, and who their coaches are. We're going to give you a view into people who are netting $1 million. That's the whole point of the 7-figure business roadmap, is that Land Voice is part of that journey. That's why we have them on today. They're part of that journey as you grow. The Right CRM, that's another company that we're, MyOutDesk, that's another company that we're in business. We have a partnership because you have to have the right system to help you grow to that point. So my suggestion to you is simply go here, MyOutDesk.com, and go to Land Voice and or /Land Voice, request a consultation, get this free stuff, all of the FSBO stuff, all the expired stuff, all of the objection handling, everything that you need to learn, right? Because you want to play like you're in the NFL, even though you might be in high school or college. So go there, register, it's free. And I don't know, what would you guys add to that?
You just gave some huge value out there. That is great. I'm sure everybody's excited. And I want to actually add to that. I want to also give away a free ebook. It's called 10 Listings in 7 Days. And that is a case study of a client who has done exactly that.
Right.
And we're amazed with it. We wrote it all down. It can be replicated. Maybe it's going to be 2 or 3 listings. But there will be listings in the first 30 days. And I will give that book out as well. In fact, to anyone who reaches out to us and who requests it for free.
Perfect. I think that's great. Okay, so the 12 Ds, and then we're going to wrap up because this is gone. I talk too much. It's the only thing I'm good at, so it's hard for me to stop. Okay, so here I'm going to run through them real quick, and guys, we put these notes here. When you request either a consultation with us or someone else, we can go over these. But delisted from MLS, we call that expireds. That's Land Voice. Delusional, I love delusional because I think that's what a FSBO is, when they think they're actually going to be able to sell a property on their own, right? As we all know, it's like 87% or 80, I forget the exact, but it's more than 80% of FSBOs end up selling with an agent. So that's why I like to call number 2 delusional. Death, probate is another really hot lead source. Divorce, I'm in California. You have to file something with the Secretary of State when you separate from your spouse. Those filings are public record. It's possible for you to know every single person who's getting a divorce. And this list it's for people who have to sell. We're not asking for maybe I want to sell, or if I got the right price, I'd sell. Divorce, people buy and sell houses when that happens. That's it, right? Death, probate. People, when somebody passes away, typically a house has to go. Debt, you can't pay the mortgage. One of the things that you guys do are the pre-foreclosure leads. That is a perfect example. Somebody can't pay their mortgage. They have income issues. You're going to find that lead and then add value to them. Hey, let me get you some money. I've done that. It's crazy. A friend of mine, I knew really more of acquaintance in college, bought a house, decided he didn't want to live there anymore, and walked away from the house for $5,000. I was blown away, and he thanked me for giving him $5,000 because he was just going to let it go to foreclosure. And there was equity, and he just didn't want to. He just wanted to walk away, and it was just really weird. But you would have found that on a public filing because it was a pre-foreclosure. So there's hundreds of those in every city across the country. Double debt, second mortgage, you could be deep underwater, do a short sale with somebody. Damage, I love damage because it scares off all the other agents. Oh, you had a fire or the city, tagged the building. Those are great, deals to work. People who are disabled, again, that's a public filing. Drug houses, I added drug houses to give a little, little drama. But the city shuts them down, and across the country, if your house has been tagged as unlivable with drugs, it's a special filing. And you can pull that data because they don't want somebody to accidentally wander in, and they want you to know there's toxins in the house. So, all of this data is available. What's that? Desperate to move, change in job, change in school. There's a lot of folks out there, and you can find out like a change in job, for instance, relocation companies. Anytime somebody moves because of a job, they hire a relocation company. You can get the list of people who need to move or want to move. Like this is just a possibility. It's another list. Determined to move. Life events. We're all, happy Father's Day, by the way. We're all parents. So look, every time a couple gets married, public record. When they have kids, public record. When that kid goes off to school, public record. When that kid goes to college and leaves the house, public record. These are all things that you can get access to by just having it. And then, absentee owners, you guys, LandVoice does that, vacant homes, rentals. These are all options for you guys, the listeners, to just go and drive leads. And if you don't have a strategy, give us a call. We'll talk it through what you can and cannot do in terms of, where you would get this. We've got a lot of partners, just like LandVoice, who can add value in the ones that LandVoice, they just don't do. So we're giving away a lot of stuff, huh? Right? This is like, we got the 10 books. Haas Pratt, he's a buddy of mine, friend of LandVoice, brilliant guy, knows exactly how to help you grow your business. We're giving away the 16 different like FSBOs, expireds, objection handlers, how to use the system. And all you got to do is register at one of the landing pages right here. And we want to, like in this call, all we want to do is help you guys grow. That's it.
Good. Thank you.
How do you want to end this one, huh?
No, that is a great end. Oh my gosh. And also don't forget 10 listings in 7 days. That ebook we give away as well.
Yep. Perfect. Well, Christoph, Jonathan, you guys are badasses. I love spending time with LandVoice because I know they're like us, been around for more than a decade. They have solid people. It's a real technology and it's going to help you grow. Guys, thanks for joining us. We do one of these every week. And so appreciate your time today. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having us on. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.